Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Are you ready to be transformed? I'm here to uplift, encourage, motivate, and inspire. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing well. I am your empowerment strategist, Jacqueline Jobs. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in today to Empowering Others to Excel, where we are here to uplift you, motivate you, encourage you, push you forward. Whatever goals that you have set for yourself, whatever your desires are for yourself, I am here today to be your accountability partner and to make sure you get to where it is that you want to be. So thank you for tuning in this morning, wherever you are tuning in from. Good morning to my WMEG listeners. Good morning to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you are here and you are listening, you can drop a good morning in the chat to let me know that you are here with us this morning. All right. I believe we are all set and ready to go. Okay, so last week our topic was staying encouraged through every situation. Our topic was staying encouraged through every situation. And I also gave y'all some homework last week as well. I believe that homework was you had to do one brave thing. Your homework was you had to do one brave thing. So if you're here and you did that homework, I want you to drop it in the chat. Let us know, what is the brave thing that you did last week? You had to take that one step and do that one brave thing. So I want to know, what was that brave thing that you did last week? And while you're dropping it in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and give us some takeaways from last week. Last week, once again, staying encouraged through every situation. And the takeaways were to speak truth over your fears. Speak truth over your fears. We are all human. We are fearful at times. But when those fears comes, we don't want those fears to stop us. So we need to speak truth over the fear. So if you are fearful and you are worried about something, yes, I am worried, but yes, I am anxious about this thing, but. So whatever it is, I want you to speak the truth over it, and then I want you to reframe it into a positive. We don't want to let that fear hinder us or stagnate us from moving. Next one is, when a fearful thought comes, don't feed it, replace it. And I all told you a couple of weeks ago that that's one of my weaknesses. And it's not a weakness, it's a weakness, yes, but it's negative thoughts. It's not fearful thoughts, it's negative thoughts. When negative thoughts come in my mind, I tend to play out the scenarios and the different scenarios to get different results. Instead, I need to not feed into it at all. I need to not feed into the negativity, but I just need to replace it with a positive. And so that is what I have been working on. That is one of my goals for myself, is every time a negative thought comes, I am replacing that negative thought with a positive. I am reframing it. So that is one of my homework assignments that I have to work on myself daily with. The next one is, look back on moments you once thought you never would get through and remember that you did. This is what we talk about when we say celebrate the small wins, because a lot of times we're always looking for that big grand finale. And if that big grand finale doesn't come, then we get frustrated, we get annoyed, we get upset, and we want to quit. But if we look at the small wins along the way, they will keep us motivated until we get our final result that we are seeking and desiring. So remember to look back over those moments or that situation that you thought you weren't going to get through and think about how you did, because you're here, you're standing, you made it. So that means you did overcome those situations. Next one, resting doesn't mean quitting. It means you're refilling yourself, you're refilling your cup, you're refreshing, you're getting renewed when you rest. So that way, when you do come back to tackle that thing, you have more energy to put towards it. You have more knowledge to put towards it, more insight, different perspectives to put towards it. And the last one is courage grows with every small act of faith. So make that call, set those boundaries, take the next step. Remember, we want to be courageous in this walk that we're walking. We don't want to be fearful. We do not want to be a coward. We want to be courageous. And when we encourage ourselves, as we said last week, that means we are pouring more courage into us. Because a lot of times when we are fearful, our courage diminishes. And we want to be able to put that courage back into us. So that is why we need to stay encouraged. We need to encourage ourselves. So that was our topic from last week. Stay encouraged through every situation. Now we're going to move on to today's topic. Today's topic is wrestling with the unknown. Wrestling with the unknown. Now, if you are in this situation right now and say, this is me, I am here now. And I can witness to this because last night I was wrestling in my sleep. Lord knows I was wrestling. I was tossing and turning, tossing and turning, tossing and turning. And for those who are wondering, how do I get my topics that I talk about every Saturday? And it's funny because in the beginning, I've created this whole plan, this whole outline for the whole entire year, because I believe I started in June. So from June to December, I created an outline of all of the topics that I was going to talk about. And then every time I got on the air, my conversation always shifted. So then I had to stop and I'm like, okay, so now what is my game plan? Because then it got to the point like, okay, this is not what the listeners need. This is not what they're looking for at this moment. So what can I do? So now every morning, every Saturday morning before the session, I get up and I'm like, okay, God, what do you want me to talk about? Because my conversation's always shifted anyway. My conversation's always shifted. So now it's to the point I'm like, okay, God, what do you want me to talk about? So I get up at 6:30 in the morning. I wash through all those things and then I sit and I'm like, okay, what do you want me to talk about today? And then once he gives me the game plan, then I start going to work, creating my outline and different topic discussions and things of that nature. So that is how I get my topics every day. So last night, I was wrestling. I was wrestling because I had already put some other questions before God. And I'm sitting here like, okay, God, I'm waiting for answers for that. And I was like, well, I might not get a topic for today because I'm still waiting on answers for that. And I said, it's amazing. He gave me topics for today, though, but I'm still waiting on my answers. So I am dealing with that right now. But yes, I have my topic for today, wrestling with the unknown. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about wrestling with the unknown. Okay, now, so have you ever felt stuck between faith, fear, clarity, and confusion? Faith, fear, clarity, and confusion. If you have ever felt stuck in between those different topics, that is what we're dealing with. And it's basically the space of the unknown. Because you have faith, yes, you may be fearful about some things, you're seeking clarity, and then you're confused about some things. So you have all of those things going on all at once. And you're like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be going? How am I supposed to move? That is the space of the unknown. And today we're going to unpack how to find peace and purpose within that space. How to find peace and purpose within that space of being in the unknown. Because normally when we're in the season of the unknown, it's still the I'm waiting patiently for an answer. Or I'm trying to wait patiently for an answer. Because sometimes in our waiting, we get restless. We get restless. We want to see the manifestation quickly, and it's not coming quickly. So today it is dealing with being in that space of the unknown. And what can you do? How can you have peace while you're in the unknown? How can you identify your purpose while you're in the unknown? Now, I want you to remember being in the unknown can be uncomfortable, and most of the time it is. because we like to be in the know, as they say. We like to know what's going on. We like to be able to know and have a plan set out as to what's going on, what's going to happen next. Those W questions, those 5W, who, what, when, where, why, how. We want to already have those answers right there before us. But inside of the unknown, we don't know the who, we don't know the what, when, where, we don't know the how, and we don't know the why. So we're just sitting in this space and we're feeling uncomfortable. So I just want you to remember that when you're in that space and you're in the uncomfortable, the unknown, growth is happening all around you. You may not see it for what it is at that moment, but growth is happening. It's either you're building your patience, and that is one of the main things. You are building your patience. Your faith is being built. Trust, your trust is being built. You're getting a different perspective of things. You're learning to let go of things and surrender some things. You're realizing that you can't hold on to some things while you're in this unknown. You're realizing while you're in this unknown that you can't have everybody in your ear gate. You're realizing that while you're in this unknown place, you can't watch everything that you want to watch. You also realize that while you're in this unknown state, you have to be observant. You have to be observant. You have to keep your eyes open. You have to keep your ears open. You have to ask for discernment during this time of the unknown. So while you're in the place of the unknown, I want you to remember that growth is happening. Growth is happening all around you. You are developing. You're gaining so much knowledge. Some of it you don't know, and some of it you do know. And it is in an uncomfortable place, and some of us don't want to be there. But you can attest to the fact that, yes, you are growing while you're there. You might not want to be there, but you're growing while you're there. So I want you to keep that in mind as well. So while we're going through this session today, I want you to grab your notebook, your pencil, and take some notes on today of how to find peace and purpose in the unknown. While you're wrestling with the unknown, how can you find peace and purpose? Now, the first part is understanding the unknown. Understanding the unknown. And we have to realize that the unknown is not a punishment, it is preparation. The unknown is not a punishment, it is preparation. And I'm saying this because a lot of times when we are in that unknown space and we see things falling apart, we see things falling apart to the left, we see things falling apart to the right. And it feels like, why is this happening? You're asking the question, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening? Like, I've done what I'm supposed to do. Why is this happening? And this is all happening while we're in that place of the unknown. And we're questioning, why is this happening? I thought I did what I was supposed to do. I thought I checked off all the boxes. I thought I was aligning up to what I'm supposed to be following. So why is this happening? So then we start to question ourselves, and then we feel as though we're being punished for something, and we don't even know what it is, but we feel like we're being punished because we're watching things crumble around us. But in a process of that, we have to realize while things are crumbling, while things are falling, there are things that are breaking loose that we're not supposed to be holding, that we weren't supposed to be holding on to. There are things that are breaking loose that were hindering us. But we thought it was something that we were supposed to have. And in hindsight, we weren't supposed to have it. So I need you to realize when things seem as though they're falling apart, sometimes they're just being restructured. It might fall off now, and then it might come back later in a different way. So we have to look at it from all different perspectives. And then, it would be amazing if we could see it from God's perspective. It would be so amazing because then we would be able to see the plan, the entire plan. And then we'd be able to say, okay, so now I understand this. Like, I might not want to go that direction, but since God, you're showing me what it is, I'm going to go ahead and go in that direction. But God doesn't show us the whole picture. So we have to trust and believe that we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing. But in the time of being in the unknown, I just need you to understand that it is a preparation time for you. It is a rebuilding process for you. It is a restoration process for you. So don't get weary in your well-doing. I want you to keep the faith and hold on. And see, once again, I'm preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to myself. I'm encouraging myself in this as well. Next one is life uncertain moments often position us for something greater. And that's basically what I was saying. The uncertain moments often position us for something greater. And then we resist what we don't understand. But peace comes when we learn to surrender to control. Now I'm going to break these down a little bit more. I did a little deep dive into each one. So the first one, the unknown is not punishment, it's preparation. And I already stated, when life feels uncertain, it's easy to think that we've done something wrong or that we're being punished. Yes. But often the unknown is simply the in-between place where growth happens. And this is what I have to keep reminding myself, that I am growing in this. I am learning in this. It is preparing me. It is preparing me for my future. It's preparing me for the next step. And when I say it's preparing me mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It is preparing me because we go through all of those emotions. We go through the mental stress. We go through the emotional stress. We go through the spiritual questioning when we're in this unknown place. We go through it all. We go through the woe is me. Why am I here? Woe is me. My feelings are hurt. Woe is me. We go through the mental anxiety. We go through the stress, causing ourselves to get headaches, frustration. We go through that spiritually. We're questioning everything. Okay, God, I don't understand it. Why, God? We go through it all, but we have to remember that this is preparing us for the next step. Yes, it's going to be hard. It is going to be hard, but it is preparing us for the next step. And then we have to remember that through all of this, the delay or the confusion is not a denial. It is development. We are being developed. We are being shaped. We are being formed. And the thing is, you don't want to quit in the midst of your development. You don't want to quit in the midst of your being formed. Because if you quit in the midst of it, you're going to be lacking some things that you need for your future. So instead of thinking about, I want to quit because this is hard, I want to quit because I can't see it, I want to quit because it just doesn't feel good, think about what it's going to look like on the end. So I want to keep this. I want to keep the faith. I want to keep doing this. I want to keep pressing because I want to get that end result. I want to get my full development. I want to get my full healing. So I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep going. That is what we have to tell ourselves. Now, life uncertain moments often position us for something greater. Why? Because we're being stretched in those uncertain moments. We're being pushed out of our comfort zone. We have to learn to depend on our faith, learn to depend on ourselves, because we realize while we're in this situation that we're going through, the dependency that we had on other people is lacking and it's failing. So we have to put our trust in God. We have to believe in ourselves and build up our confidence in ourselves and realize that we have and we are capable of doing this. We may have to rearrange some things, redo some things, reflect on some things and plan in a different way, but we are capable. So those uncertain moments, they stretch us. And then during those uncertain, can't get it out today. During those uncertain moments, we have setbacks, yes. We have setbacks. We may go left when we're supposed to go right. And when we have those moments, what do we do? What do we do when we have those moments? Do we just stop and say, okay, this was just letting me know this is not for me? Or do we say, I'm going to go back, backtrack, see what happened wrong, and I'm going to move forward? So that's what we have to do. And in those moments, it teaches us resiliency. It teaches us resiliency and it shifts us towards greater opportunities. Why? Because we didn't stop and just submit to failure. We repositioned ourselves and we kept going. So in those moments, we became resilient in that situation. And in those moments, because we repositioned ourselves, we're opening ourselves up to greater opportunities that are going to come our way. So I need you to realize that in those uncertain moments, just reposition yourself, shift a little bit in your chair, reposition yourselves. And then the last point for this section was we resist what we don't understand, but peace comes when we learn to surrender control. Now we have to remember, because if peace and control cannot coexist, because there's always going to be a struggle. Because if you're a person who always wants control, that means you want to know all things, and you want to be able to handle all things. But we don't know all things, and we are not capable of handling all things by ourselves. So in that, you have to learn to surrender and let go of the things that you cannot control. Because if you continue to try to control the things that you were not meant to control, all that you're going to do is cause more confusion. You're going to cause more frustration. So we need to learn to surrender those things that we cannot control, that are beyond our control. We need to learn to let it go. And in the letting go, we find peace. We find peace. Because the only person who can be all things to all people is God. We can't do that. And we try so hard to be all things to all people. And we can't do it. We're stretching ourselves too thin. We're causing headaches and frustrations when we don't need to. So we need to learn to surrender that control. Let it go. It is not meant for you to handle that. That's not meant for you to handle. Let God handle that. And you just rest in the peace and the faith and being assured that he's going to handle it for you and he's going to fight that battle. But you need to learn to let it go. So remember that control and peace cannot coexist. It's going to be a battle. And we don't want that battle. We're trying to learn to eliminate those things that cause us to be frustrated. And a lot of the things that cause us to be frustrated, we put on ourselves. And we're trying to learn to eliminate those things. So one of them is to learn to let yourself have peace. And in order to learn to let yourself have peace, you have to surrender. Surrender, surrender, surrender. Next, true peace comes when we stop fighting. I just said that. We can't change and start trusting that things are unfolding as they should. So we have to stop fighting. We got to let it go, surrender it, give it up. So now I want you to stop and I want you to think on this. I want you to reflect. What unknown areas in your life are you wrestling with right now? Is it career, relationships, health, finance, or purpose? What is it? What unknown area in your life are you wrestling with right now? I want you to write that down. I want you to write that down. What is the unknown that you are wrestling with? And write it down so that way that you can have it right there. You can look at it, you can see it and say, yes, I agree. This is what I'm wrestling with. And then once you write it down, I want you to write down underneath of it. This situation is preparing me. Write down, this situation is developing me. This situation is stretching me. Do not be fearful. Do not doubt. Surrender it, and it will be worked out. So I want you to write those things down. And next one, the next section is coaching through the unknown. Coaching through the unknown. And a lot of times it's amazing because when we are going through different situations, and so far most of the topic we talked about, they always overlap. They overlap, and then we keep going back to different key points. And it's the same. Once we get these key points and we understand these key points and we use these key points on a daily basis, it makes our life a little easier. So some of the practical tools that we can use to help us to get through dealing with the unknown when we're wrestling with the unknown. First one is reframe fear into faith. Instead of asking yourself, what if it doesn't work? Ask yourself, what if it does? What if it does? Because when we're in that unknown, it's always, oh my goodness, what if it doesn't go like I want it to go? What if it doesn't go like it's supposed to go? But the question is, what if it does? Then what? Are you ready for what if it does? Do you have your action plan already worked out for the what if it does? And if you don't, start working on it. And why? Because when you start working on it, it's building up your faith. It's a testament. It is a statement saying that I believe that this is going to happen for me. So that means if you start working on the what if it does and you start creating that action plan, guess what? When it does happen, you are ready for it. You're going to be ready for it. Next one is anchor yourself in daily routines. Anchor yourself in daily routines. So when we get into that unknown situation, we start wrestling with the unknown. Sometimes we want to shut down. We want to shut down. And it's amazing because yesterday, my husband had asked me, how was my day going? I was like, it was okay. I said, and it was funny because we were talking about just sitting in silence and trying to allow God to speak to you. So yesterday, that's what I did first part of the morning. I was like, let me sit in silence and see if I hear some answers to what I've been praying for. And then after a while of me sitting in silence, I drifted off and then went to sleep. I woke back up and I'm like, okay, let me try this again. So I was sitting in silence and I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to tune out everything. I'm not focusing on the things that are frustrating me. And I am sitting in silence and I'm like, okay, all right. I'm waiting for God to respond in some way. I'm like, I'm clearing all of the negative thoughts out of my mind. I'm trying to stay focused and I'm sitting in silence. And after a while, I was like, okay, let me go upstairs because I started to drift off again. I was like, you know what? Let me go upstairs. And I was like, I'm going to actually just rest in God. That's what I called it. I said, I'm going to rest in God. I'm just going to rest in God. And I did that. And then later on, my husband was like, so what did you do today? So I told him. And I was like, after a while, I just laid down and went to sleep. I said, because I didn't want my mind to be thinking. But then I thought about it later on and I was like, to certain people, that means different things. You don't want your mind to be thinking. For me, it wasn't that I was depressed and I went to sleep to just try to numb all of the feeling. That wasn't it. For me, is I went to sleep because I knew that if I stayed up at that moment of me wrestling with the unknown, I was going to be doing busy work. And when I say I'm doing busy work, that means I was going to be creating busy work inside of the business that was just trying to pass the time because I wasn't sure as to what the next steps were supposed to be. And I didn't want to do that because a lot of time when you create the busy work, then you get frustrated that the plans you have for the busy work doesn't work as well. So yesterday it was just like a day that I was just going to rest. I was going to rest my mind. I was just going to find peace in the midst of the calamity. That's what I'm saying it was. I was going to just find some peace. So I rested. So that is what I did yesterday. But when we say anchor yourself in a daily routine, that means the things that you normally do on a daily routine, you need to continue to do those things. Don't allow the unknown to rack you to the point it's like, I know I need to get up. I need to go to work. I'm not going to work today. I'm just over it. I'm over it all. I'm not going to work today. No, anchor yourself in the daily routines because while you are going through your daily routines, you are not being, you're not focused as much on those things that you can't control. And then when those moments do come of the things that you can't control, that's when you just say some positive to negate the negative thoughts that are coming and you move on with your day. But if you do not stay in your daily routine, your mind is going to be flooded constantly with those things that you can't control and that you cannot handle at that moment. So I want you to anchor yourself in your daily routine. Next, if you are a journal writer, I want you to write out how you're feeling, what is going on, and then write out how do you think the outcome can come about. So basically, you're trying to create the goals that you want in the next steps. Affirmations, stay positive. Continue to stay positive. Continue to speak life over yourself. Continue to pray over yourself. Because those dark times are going to come where you don't feel as though you have anything positive to say. But you need to be able to look through whatever's going on and find some positive things to say that is going to uplift you and motivate you during that time of uncertainty. And then I want you to remember your non-negotiables. Remember your non-negotiables. And you're like, what are the non-negotiables? These things are not open to discussion or modifications. You can have non-negotiables. So non-negotiables help you set boundaries, maintain self-respect, and ensure that your core values are upheld in the relationship and life decisions. Now, when I'm talking about non-negotiables, it depends on what you set the non-negotiables for. So in a relationship, your non-negotiable, I can't get it out. Your non-negotiables can be that you want honesty in a relationship, that you're not going to tolerate somebody being dishonest to you. Your non-negotiables can be that there has to be mutual respect for one another. There has to be trust. Because if you don't have trust, what do you have? Those can be non-negotiables. Non-negotiables inside of your business life, of your businesses or your finances. You can say for finances, non-negotiables. I am going to pay all of my bills before I splurge on myself. That can be a non-negotiable. So I want you to think about that. What are your non-negotiables? Stick to your non-negotiables. Non-negotiables if you have a business. Non-negotiable can be, I am going to accept payments first before I render the service. You have to pay before I render the service. That way it's going to ensure that my finances stay intact. That could be a non-negotiable. So I want you to think about what your non-negotiables are. Remember them during those times of uncertainty, when you're wrestling with uncertainty. Because sometimes when we're wrestling with uncertainty, we're kind of willing to almost give up everything. Like everything goes out the window. Everything that you know to be true will go out the window at that moment because you're dealing with a lot. You're dealing with a lot of things that might be flooding your mind at the moment. So we want you just to remember that. Remember that during that time. Now, the next topic is faith, hope, and resilience. Faith, hope, and resilience during the time of wrestling with the unknown. During the time of wrestling with the unknown, we want you to remember to continue to upbuild your faith, continue to be hopeful, and to continue to be resilient. Faith is trusting that even when you can't see the full picture, something good is still there. Something good is still going to happen. It's going to be worked out behind the scenes. So we have to continue to believe that. We have to continue to trust and believe that. Faith doesn't remove the unknown. They're always going to be unknown, but it helps us to walk through the unknown with confidence. It helps us to walk through the unknown with confidence. Faith gives us the strength to go on to the next step. It helps us to make the path a little bit clearer. So that is what our faith does. So we need to make sure that we hold on to it. Next one is hope. When we have hope, even when everything around us feels dim and there's that little light, that is hope. It's not wishful thinking. And that is one thing that I had to question myself a lot of times. It's like, is this wishful thinking or is this hope? Because I don't want to just be the person who has a lot of wishful thinking. And it's not something that I need to be focusing my time on. So you have to realize that hope is not wishful thinking. It is an expectation. It is an expectation that you have set for yourself. So I want you to continue to keep hope, continue to hold fast. Remind yourself that what you see right now is temporary. What you see right now is temporary. This is not going to be what it is always going to be there. It is a temporary situation. And then eventually you will see that light at the end of the tunnel. And you will be able to move on through that situation. And then the last one is resilience. Resilience is being able to bend without breaking. And this is the one thing that we all need to build up. We need to build up our resilience, being able to bend without breaking, because this is what's going to keep us when we're in those hard spots, when we're in those situations where we just don't understand. We're going to be able to bend, yes. We may go from side to side, but we're not going to break. We might get knocked down, but we're going to get back up. We're not going to stay in that downtrodden state. We're going to get back up. We're going to find the light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to speak over ourselves and let us know that we can get through this. We're going to be able to get through this. That is what resilience is. Resilience reminds you of your past strengths. It reminds you of how you got through other situations. And just like you got through those other situations, you're going to get through this. That is what resilience reminds you of. Now, I also want us to think that you're going to get discouraged. You're going to get discouraged. You're going to, that's basically the word. You're going to get discouraged. Things are going to happen and you're going to get discouraged. I just want you to know that it is okay to feel how you are feeling, but just remember that you have to remind yourself that, yes, I am in this situation. It will get better. It's not going to always be like this. I have the means, I have the attitude, I have the knowledge to get through this. I have the understanding to get through this. And when I feel as though I can't get through this, I will always seek God for answers. I will pray to God to ask him for answers to help me and give me the insight that I need, the wisdom that I need, the strength that I need, the encouragement and the motivation that I need to get through this. So I am not going through this situation alone. So that is what you have to remind yourself. And when you combine faith, hope, and resilience together, you create a powerful mindset that helps you endure uncertainty and every challenge with grace. So remember that. So make sure you keep your faith, hope, and resilience. So that way you will be able to endure different uncertainties with grace. Faith keeps you grounded. Hope keeps you looking forward, and resilience keeps you moving forward. That is what I want you to remember. Faith keeps you grounded. Hope keeps you looking forward, and resilience keeps you moving forward. And that is what we want to do. We want to be able to keep moving forward during the time when we are not sure as to what is going on. We don't want to stop. We don't want to just give up, but we want to be able to find our faith. We want to be able to hold on to that hope, and we want our resilience to keep us moving forward. Now, I'm going to pause for a minute, and I'm just going to say that every day in life, we have different situations. Every day in life, we have different situations that come our way. We have our good days, we have our bad days, but we need to remember that we are going to keep forward. We're going to keep pressing forward, because guess what? Every day we go to sleep, there's a new day. There's a new day. And since there is a new day, that means we have to keep moving forward. We can't just say, I'm going to lay here, close my eyes, and the next day it's not going to come. It's going to come regardless. It's going to come regardless. So with the day coming regardless means you have to keep moving forward regardless of the situation. You have to keep moving forward. So I need you to keep that in mind. Every 24 hours, there is a new day. So that means you have to keep moving forward regardless of whatever the situation is, regardless of whatever the situation, the circumstances may be. You have to find that positive that is going to help you to move forward, that is going to help you to push through whatever the challenges that you are facing. You have to find them, and you have to remember that you are equipped with what you need. And if you're not, there are people out there who can help you while you're going through this storm, this challenge, this life circumstance. Because we all have different things in our lives that are going on at this very moment. And some of the things that are going on, we're like, okay, yes, this happened before. We know the game plan. We know what we need to do. Then sometimes we get something new thrown at us and we're like, okay, I don't know what to do with this. I'm not equipped with this. So what do? Find somebody who is equipped with this, who understands what you're dealing with, and speak to them about it. It's always about finding the correct resources that are going to get you through this situation that you're in. So I just want you all to be mindful of that and to know that Now, wrestling with the unknown. I want you, if you're listening right now, or if you're in the social media platforms, write down one thing that you are wrestling with. Now, I don't want you to write down what you're wrestling with. I want you to send me in the chat, how are you feeling while you're experiencing what you're wrestling with? So you don't have to tell me what it is you're wrestling with, but just tell me, what are you feeling? How are you feeling with what it is that you are wrestling with in the unknown? How are you feeling? So are you feeling frustrated? How are you feeling? Are you feeling like you want to give up? How are you feeling right now dealing with whatever it is in the unknown? How are you feeling? Because I can say for me, one of the things that I am feeling at this moment of dealing with the unknown is, it's kind of hard to put it in words. It's more so the fact that I know I am capable, but I'm doubting. So maybe that's it. It's doubt. So in the feeling right now, wrestling with the unknown, I am feeling doubt. I am being doubtful of my capabilities. So that is how I am feeling right now. So I want you to share, how are you feeling right now dealing with whatever it is that you're wrestling with in the unknown? Are you doubtful? Are you fearful? Are you anxious? Are you just questioning things because you're just not sure? How are you feeling? And then once you identify how you are feeling, I want you to stop. And then I want you to think about, what are some ways that you can reframe how you're feeling? So instead of being doubtful, so for me, I'm being doubtful. What is a way that I can refrain from being doubtful in this time of uncertainty? What can I do for me? So for me, since I say it's because I am doubting my capabilities, I need to write down my strengths and my weaknesses based on my capabilities. Because I'm questioning myself and I'm sitting here like, why am I questioning myself when I know I am capable of this? But since I have that doubt lingering, I need to write down all of my strengths. And then I need to write down my weaknesses. And then I need to identify, because on the strengths, I'm good. We can always grow in our strengths. So I'm good on that area. But for my weaknesses, I need to start looking at my weaknesses that I do have. And I need to start building them up to make them strengths. So that means I need to pick a weakness and I need to work on that weakness. So that way, when that doubt starts to creep in again, I can say, no, I worked on this. So I know that I am capable of this now. So that is how one way you can combat the feelings that you are feeling. Once you identify what it is that you're feeling in that uncertain moment, I want you to write down your list, strengths and weaknesses. Look at your strengths, give yourself a pat on the back because you know they're your strengths. And yes, we can always grow and build on our strengths. And then look at your weaknesses, select one of the weaknesses, and I want you to start working on that weakness. Start working on that weakness. Okay, so I have somebody in the chat. They said, I am feeling unsure. I am feeling unsure. Am I listening or hearing correctly? Am I feeling or listening or hearing correctly? Okay, so now for this one, since you are feeling unsure, you know exactly what the question is that you are asking. You know the question that you're asking, but you're feeling unsure about it. So what I want you to do for this one is, I want you to write down what you think the response should be. Now, this is what you think the response should be. So you're writing down what you think the response should be. So whatever the question is that you ask, write down what you think the response should be. And then I want you to write down across from that. I want you to think about, is the response that you're thinking of, is it obtainable? Is it relatable to what it is that you're going through? Is it something that you think God will have for you based off of the response that you think it is? Because a lot of times when we ask for something, when we ask for something and we're waiting on a response, we're hoping to hear what it is that we want. We're hoping to hear what it is that we want because honestly, that's kind of like the easy way. That's the easy way out of what it is that we want. But then we have to stop and think, okay, is this what it's supposed to be? Is this really what God wants in that situation? So that is one of the things I want you to think about, because we can always sit there and say, I'm asking for this, I'm praying for this, I'm hoping for this, I'm wishing for this, but is this what it is that you're supposed to have at that moment? And yes, it is confusing. And yes, you need to get clarity a lot of times, because trust me, I'm sitting here the same thing. I have my questions that I've asked, I put before God. I'm like, okay, God, show me this, show me the next steps. Am I going on the right path? If this is what is this what you have for me? Because I could have something totally different planned out for me. But I know whatever it is that I want for myself, I want it to be able to be a blessing to others in the process. So is this what it is that you have for me? And then move from there and then see if you can hear some clarity. And it's amazing. I'm just going to shift a little bit and change a little bit, because I read I think it was James chapter 4. I read James chapter 4, and it was the part about you have not because you ask not, and when you ask amiss. But then I had to stop and I had to break that down. Like, what is this asking? Because a lot of times we use that scripture, you have not because you ask not, and when you ask amiss. And you're like, okay, I have not because I ask not. So guess what? I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask. So this is what I'm asking for. But then you go back to the other part, you have not because you ask not, and then you asked amiss. What does that part mean? You asked amiss. And that means basically it's saying that you asked for something based off of selfish means. So then you have to go back and you have to question what I am asking. Is it based off of selfish means? Or is it what I am asking? Is it going to be a blessing to me and others? Because when God gives you things, he is giving you something. Yes, it's going to bless you first, but it's going to also be a blessing unto others. So therefore, you need to stop and think. So what are you asking for? What are you praying for? What are you seeking for? Is it something that is going to be a blessing to you and others, or is it something that you're going to receive and then you're going to hoard just for yourself? So I had to stop and go through this yesterday as well. So I was breaking it down yesterday, and I'm like, okay, God, I asked for this, this, and this. I'm praying for this, this, and this. I need clarity on this, this, and this. Then I had to stop and go, okay, so now let me go back and look to see, out of these things that I am asking you for, is it going to be a blessing to me and others? When I obtain it, will I be able to bless me, and will I be able to bless others as well with the thing that you are giving me? And I had to go back and look to check to make sure. Because when I am moving forward, I want whatever that God gives me, I want to be able to make sure that I'm doing what he desires of it. Because I don't want to be taken from me. So therefore, you have to go back and check on those things as well. So that is just something that I'm throwing out there as well for that one, especially for feeling unsure. Feeling unsure. Make sure when you're requesting whatever it is that you're requesting, or you're moving and you're going and you're doing about your daily routine, just make sure that while you're moving, while you're doing it unto the Lord. And no, I wasn't planning on going this way, because yes, for those who are just tuning in, yes, this is for life coaching, uplifting, motivating, encouraging. But sometimes I am a Christian. I live my life to please God. So I'm going to be able to throw out some of those knowledge and those nuggets in the process. So I pray that it does not offend anybody who is listening, but I'm just going to put that out there as well. So when you're moving about and you're doing, are you doing it, and are you moving about doing things that are pleasing God? So basically, the way that you're speaking to others, is it pleasing God? Is it showing people that you have God in your life? Things of that nature. So I want you to think about that as well. So now going back to wrestling with the unknown. Wrestling with the unknown. Remember, while we're wrestling with the unknown, you want to be able to find your peace. How do you find your peace? In order to find the peace while wrestling with the unknown, you have to learn to surrender the control. Surrender the control. You're not meant to handle all of the things. So those things that you cannot control, stop trying to control. You have to learn to surrender the control in order to find the peace that you are looking for. You cannot do everything. You cannot be everything to everybody. So you have to learn to set your boundaries. You have to learn to keep those boundaries. You have to learn to keep your non-negotiables. Those things that you're not going to waver on. You have to learn to keep them. Because once you give up on one of your non-negotiables, guess what? Then all of the other ones are up and you can question them all too. Well, I said this, but now this. So no, think about your non-negotiables, the reason why you set your non-negotiables, and keep them. Do not waver on your non-negotiables. Anchor yourself in your routine. Anchor yourself in your routine. But make sure in your routine, somewhere in your routine, you are speaking life over yourself daily. Somewhere in your routine, you're speaking life over yourself daily. In the morning when you get up, speaking life over yourself. While you're going through the day, speaking life over yourself. You just got out of a meeting at work, and in the meeting, they were patting somebody else on the back for a job that you know you gave them all of that information, and they passed it on as your own. You're going to speak life over yourself during those situations. You're dealing with your family members and things that are going on with your family members. And you have family members who just don't know what to say out of their mouths. We all have some. And they're the ones that's always spewing out the negativity. I want you, while you're in that situation, you are speaking life over yourself. You are not allowing those words to hinder you. You're not allowing those words to cause you to doubt yourself and your capabilities. I want you to speak life over yourself during those situations. So that is one thing we need to be able to learn to do throughout our daily walk. Speak life over yourself. Encourage yourself. Just because somebody around you is being negative does not mean that you have to be negative. You do not have to dwell in that place where they are. Remember, whatever you say out of your mouth, keep it positive. Keep it positive. Keep it uplifting, upbeat. So those are things that I want you to do. Reframe fear. Reframe fear. While you're going through your daily day, if something comes up and it causes you to be fearful, reframe it. Do not allow that fear to stay in your mind. Reframe it. Okay, yes, this situation just happened, but, and give it a positive spin. Do not let that fear dwell there, because why? That is an open door. That is an open door. Once you allow that fear to dwell there, then more things are going to start happening because you allowed that fear to stay there. You're going to start having negative thoughts about other things. You're going to become fearful about other things. Why? Because you gave it an entryway. So we need to reframe fear. Reframe fear with faith. Those are the things that I want you to remember as you're going throughout your day. I want you to find some way for you to relieve the stress. Find some way to relieve the stress. If you are a person that prays, I want you to pray. If you're a person that finds your quiet space, I want you to do that. Whatever it is that is going to cause you to alleviate some of that stress, I want you to do it. Because while we're wrestling and we're in our unknown state, that is the best way for the enemy to attack us. Because we're not on guard like we normally are. We're not on guard, and we're not thinking clearly during that time because we're trying to figure things out and we don't have the answers to figure them out. So I want you to, while you're in that uncertainty state, you're wrestling with that uncertainty state, I want you to keep your guard up. I want you to alleviate the stress. I want you to pray. I want you to focus on positive things. I want you to speak life into yourself. I want you to get others who can pour life into you. Get others who can pour life into you. And therefore, you can continue to encourage yourself while you're going through. Now, I want you to remember this. You may not have the answers right now, but you are not alone in the unknown. Every step you take in faith builds strength, resilience, and wisdom for your next challenge. So this is something that you can say to yourself. I may not see the full picture, but I trust the process is being unfolded to me. I may not see the full picture, but I trust the process is being unfolded to me. And then you can pray that the process gets unfolded to you, that it gets revealed to you. Now, I would like for you to continue to uplift yourself, motivate yourself, pour into yourself, speak life into yourself. Join us next week for more Empowering Others to Excel, where we're going to be your accountability partner. We're going to hold you accountable for all things positive. We're going to hold you accountable. Now, I would like for those who would like to, you can partner with Empowering Others to Excel by using CashApp EOE Change Agent. CashApp EOE Change Agent. For those who would like to partner with Empowering Others to Excel. We want to continue to inspire people to live powerful lives. So if you would like to power and partner with us, please feel free to do so. I would like to thank my WMEG listeners, my YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all social media listeners for hanging in there with me on today. I hope that you were encouraged today. I hope you were motivated today. I hope you got some strategies that are going to help you to move forward, to push forward, to be resilient, to continue to hold on to your faith, and to build up your hope. Until next time, I thank you all for listening. Stay tuned, stay connected, continue to build, and I will see you next time right here at 9 o'clock, Empowering Others to Excel on WMEG and on all social media platforms. Be blessed. Empowering Others to Excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Empowering Others to Excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Are you ready to be transformed? I'm here to uplift, encourage, motivate, and inspire. Empowering Others to Excel.